sun-soaked and proud, hung in the rafters, wrapped in shroud. Hands work strong, they twist and bind, a rebel's oath, slow burned and signed. Burn it all, let the embers soar, gold in the ash and coal in the core. No masters here, no gates to climb, we blaze the trail, we love that time. Choke what we designed. The flames don't die, they realign. The pulse within begins to rise. We break the night and claim the skies. Burn it all, let the embers soar, gold in the ash and coal in the core. No masters here, no gates to climb, we blaze the trail, we love that time.
Well, happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to Burn It All. Captain RG3 here, ready to bring everybody up. And we're going to be talking about Rocky Patel today and smoking some Rocky sticks and talking crypto. Everybody, one of the crew, the Crispy Man. What's happening, bud? How you doing?
Hey now. Hey, everybody.
And Triplet Dad himself, ready to go with the new haircut. Look at that. Looking
new
sharp.
Haircut. I believe maybe the first time on YouTube with no hat.
You got that's right.
God damn.
And you got some suavecito in that hair and everything. It looks like you would
looking good, looking good. I don't want to get any suavecito on my hats. That's why I'm not wearing a hat.
Oh yeah, you get that stuff on there, it ain't coming out, man. It's greasy. So right on, everybody. Well, welcome. We are going to be talking about one of the newcomers of the cigar industry. I say newcomer, but it's like I think he came in the 90s. You know, when things started, the first big cigar boom was in the 90s when Hollywood was pumping them out and talking about it. Sylvester Stallone was smoking cigars and Arnold Schwarzenegger and this guy, Rocky Patel, he was a Hollywood dude. He was a lawyer. He was literally like a Hollywood lawyer. And because of the big cigar boom, he just started getting into cigars, came out with his own blend and brand and did really well, rocketed. And then he came out with a cigar called the Rocky Patel, which was named after himself. The name of the company, I should have that pulled up. But the name of the company before was, what did he call his company? I got it here somewhere, I think.
Yeah,
but
well, he bought into an Indian company that already was.
There you go. Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore.
Like,
it was
Indian Tobacco or something like that.
Yeah, India Tabac Cigar Company. Yeah, Tabac TABAC Cigar Company. And they went out and he started focusing on his Rocky Patel cigar that he put out, one of their lines. It was named after him. And the rest is history. He built on that, and he's been knocking it out of the water since with his own premium cigar brand and killing it. And a lot of people like Rocky Patel's. I've got a handful of them here in my little travel Humi. I'm gonna see what you guys are smoking, and then I'm gonna pick something that's probably not what you have. So, what do you got today, Crispy?
I got the 20th anniversary. Let's see.
Ooh.
The Edge, 20th anniversary version.
Rocky Patel Edge. So the Edge is one of their lines, and they make a bunch of different sizes and different blends of the Edge, and the Edge is one of their rock solids. Now the 20th anniversary, you said?
20th anniversary, 20, man, 20.
So 20th anniversary, so that's got to be a good one. Limited edition stuff, so those are always good.
Yeah.
Now, what do you got there, Triplet Dad?
I've got the barrel-aged Rocky Patel Edge white label. So there's one with a white label, and there's a somewhat darker wrapper one with a black label. So And I have both of those in my humidor, but I smoked a black label last night, so today I'm going with white.
Very, very nice. Very nice. All right. Well, then I'm going to have to go with the go-to with one of his like signature cigars, which is the vintage 1990. This is the Churchill edition, so it's a 7x48,
Yeah.
a box press deal. So let's go ahead and slash and burn, fellas, and get it going.
Oh yeah,
I'm ready. I'm ready.
A lot of these blends, have cacao. Well, they have the taste of cacao. I don't know if the cacao is actually in the chocolate plant.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so it's supposed to have some chocolate undertones, overtones.
This one is a
Smells
very
good.
square box press. Very square box press. Interesting.
I
So
like
I'm
box.
gonna,
There's quite a few box press cigars I like.
Yeah, I'm
You know
going
what's-
to use a V cut on it.
I'm going straight cut with mine. Oh, you know what's crazy out here? I can get Rocky Patel Edge cigars like $7, $8 a piece,
Oh,
just like all day long, man. Not everywhere. Some places are more expensive, but
In an actual brick and mortar, buddy.
yeah.
Really?
I go down to the liquor store and just go buy them.
So the brick and mortars here, at least in Northern California, probably the same for Captain. Rocky Patel Edges are, like lowest I've seen them is maybe $11.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's why I'm saying I like it, because I can go get those cigars, man, in a pinch.
And then if you get them on Cigar Bid, though, you can get these the edges down below $4 a stick sometimes if you're lucky.
oh, this is nice. This is very nice. We got a little bit of plum on the head there, but that's all
Let's see if I got a good light.
This is good. This is good.
Man, your cameraman's good, RG3.
Yeah.
It's like a machine.
He's working it, huh? He is.
Like a
It's like
machine.
he is a machine. So I'll be pairing it with some Members Mark purified water today. I've got
Nice.
I got a 7-Up and a NA IPA, but
Hot coffee
I'm
black.
gonna go with the water.
I'm just doing
It's
water
hot out.
today, too.
It is hot in Southern Cal.
It is not hot up here. This is like the coolest 4th of July week I've ever been in, I think, in my entire life in California up here.
Really?
Damn.
Really? Wow.
It's struggling to bust 80 degrees, bud.
Now we're hitting the 90s. Today was a little better, but we were up in the 90s, close to 100 all week. It was pretty hot.
Yeah, Bay
All right,
Area has been awesome. I'm having a cigar with Hex Monkey Saturday, outdoor spot.
You bastards.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you can do that.
This
Hey, we should give a shout out to Beach Swell. He's taking this seriously, man. He went out and got one too to smoke with us.
Nice.
Oh, look at that. Well, let's say hello to the chat real quick. So first in is Tam Tam, of course, one of the princesses of the Hex community, coming in and always supporting the show. Thank you so much.
I like that princess.
We got the
stuff, yeah.
Beach Whale. He says game time. Game time. Alan Vizimi, he is going to be smoking 2 joints and in the morning with us since he is out of cigars. But, okay. We always have somebody that's going to be smoking a joint or something, it seems. Let's see. The Beach Whale says, I have personally never enjoyed one of his. Tonight I'm trying the 15th anniversary box press. I think you'll be happy with that one, to be honest. I'm really liking this vintage 1990. This is good. This is really good. It's full body taste, but it doesn't have that big pepper in it or harsh bite.
Yeah, Rocky Patel is kind of like an everyday cigar, right? This isn't like a cigar that you're going to go smoke after you win the NBA title or freaking close a big deal or get married or whatever that is, right? It's like an everyday, nice, affordable cigar. Some Rocky Patels I'm not a big fan of, right? But if you find some niches within the Rocky Patel line, they're you can't beat them for size, regular, like a uniform freaking stick that comes to you the same way. It has a great draw, no freaking deformities. Construction's awesome, burns great, right? It's just an everyday stick that's affordable and tastes good. Yeah.
Yeah, this would be really good after a nice meal. That's what I would pair this with, a nice steak dinner or something. This thing is good. It does have a lot of cocoa taste to it.
Cacao.
Cacao. There we go.
This one is part Honduran.
Yeah, I think that doesn't he use a lot of Honduran and Mexican blends too?
This is a Nicaraguan Honduran blend, and it is barrel aged in barrels once containing bourbon.
Patron 40th anniversary. Okay, Alan got himself a hold of a 40th anniversary.
So he is smoking a stick that's more expensive than all three of ours combined.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is nice. It was almost a 2-stick day today. I was in Orange County. I was over there by Small Batch, and I was going to stop there, and I just ran out of time today. I had to get back, but man, if I would have been in there, I would have grabbed me a couple other Rockies to have for tonight. But anyway, this one is delicious, so I'm happy. Happy. Hey, we got a Wild SJ into the chat room. Hey guys, I'm tuned in from the lounge, running it in the background. Yes, she's hanging out the lounges.
Yeah, I'm in a lounge too. Yeah. You can see from my background.
I'm on a magic carpet.
So, got some cool story to tell. A couple weeks ago, we gave away from Casa from Havana Castle. Sorry, Havana Castle from Toronto. They're a lounge in the Toronto area, and they gave us we met in the lounge in LA, and we started talking. Told him what I did and what he does, and he owns lounges, but he was traveling doing his other business, and he gave me a couple of sticks. He offered us some tickets for his cruise that he has in Toronto, and we gave them away. And we gave them away to one of our community members who was in the chat room and wanted to go check it all out. And he won that. I'm trying to pull the information. So Peter Parker, right? Oh, hold on. No, that's not it. Where is? I want to pull up the info. I think we've got some. You got the pictures there, SJ, that I sent you. Okay, I'll have you pull those up as I tell the story here. So anyway, Pete Chad Sailor on the X, he won the tickets, but there was a mix-up somehow, the tickets in the cruise, and something went down. They weren't able to pull it off. But what happened was, let me send this over to. I'm going to send that over to your Telegram, to your personal Telegram there, SJ. This was the consolation. So because of what happened, he went into they asked him to come down to the lounge, and to make up for it, they gave him this consolation prize. And oops, that's not the. What is that? Oh, you got that's the wrong picture. So anyway, they compensated him and gave him a traveling humidor. But look at that. So you got a box full of sticks, some more in the bag there. You got a coffee mug, and the lighter, and that travel humidor, all for, you know, kind of having a mix up. So shout out to the guys at Havana Castle, and my friend Anders. Anders is the guy I met. Now his brother runs the shop there, and so the story behind that. So the story, you flipping through, SJ, or you know everything's up on the screen, right? So these are their home blends here. These are Havana Castle's house brand. A lot of the lounges will make their own. Well, they have an actual factory in Esteli where they make these, and I haven't smoked his yet. I've been letting it sit in the humidor. I'll bust that one out and let you guys know. But that's their brand that they have, and they don't just buy them and rebrand them. They actually have a factory in Esteli that rolls them, and you can, if you go flip through SJ, that's the roller there. She's kicking them out and hooking up. That's the rest of the crew back there. And so so here's the story behind what they did there. And I hope I tell it right. These two brothers had a father that was getting old in his 90s, and his mother was getting up there too. And so they lost mom. Here's mom here. They're Canadian, obviously up in Toronto. And they lost mom, and dad was having a hard time. And he was way up there in age. And, you know, they saw him declining and going down. Well, they opened up this lounge. And because of this lounge, they were able to stay with their dad and have a place for him to be. And his dad became the mascot of, you see him with the Havana Castle shirt there. He became the mascot of Havana Castle and lived to be 103 years old from hanging out in the cigar lounges and just becoming the mascot there and just hanging out in their community and stuff. So they have a really cool story. I think his brother even went through some stuff, and because of the cigar lounge, it's helped them and their family. So just some cool stuff. Good people in the industry. Another example of you know, folks in the industry that are just, you know, stellar. Just meet good people. And like I said, he was so generous just to give us those things and see how. So if anybody out in Toronto, you want to go meet some good folks, you want to go have a good stick, go over and check them out over there at Havana Castle. Now, if you want to thank them too for what they did for the show here, I think SJ is going to put up their link just to go in there and give them a review for how cool they've been and what kind of people they are. So that would be nice to go and help them out that way and give them a nice review. But they've got 3 shops out there to do great work, and like I said, they've been very generous to us and our community already. And I know Pete Chadsay was extremely happy. He was like, "Dude, I can't believe this. They like hooked me up on top of it." You know, we had a little mishap with me getting to the thing or whatever, but yeah, man, it's very, 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 very cool people. So go give them a review. We'll put SJ will put the link up in the deal there.
That's awesome.
Very good.
Have you guys met any mean people yet that smoke cigars?
No. I've met a few people that are very particular about whether or not I'm letting my cigar canoe. And I've also met a few. I've also met a few people. Yeah, some people get aggravated. Maybe it's OCD. And then I have met some people that absolutely freak out when somebody pulls out a cigarette. Right, because most cigar lounges, that's a no-no. Right.
I don't think I've ever seen somebody smoke a cigarette in a cigar lounge.
Yeah, if you stick around long enough, you'll see it. I'm working on my ass, man. My glutes, my cigar glute.
Nice.
This thing's got a kind of a funny burn to it. It's kind of like curling up, you know. They do that sometimes.
Yeah, going in.
Curls up, yeah. So
right.
Anyway,
well, what are your guys' plans for the 4th?
Fireworks, of course, man.
So
cooking.
So I live in Southern California. So usually don't go anywhere on the 4th, or try not to anyway. But I'm going to be going to Orange County and hanging out with some cool people. They own a tattoo parlor down in Costa Mesa. So I'm gonna go hang out there and hang with some crazies, which isn't normal for me. I'm usually staying in my little abode here hiding.
That's what I did last year, buddy. I was in Orange County last year for 4th of July with Ty and Sandy Beach.
It's a freaking war zone out there.
Oh, buddy. They couldn't believe it. I said, "You're not going to. I can't prepare you for what you're about to witness." But we got in. We were staying in Laguna Beach, and as soon as we left Laguna Beach, you just started hearing rumble coming through the freaking windows of the car, right? And so
man.
We get out in Santa Ana, which is a relative of mine, and we had, the typical, hamburger, hot dogs, freaking chilling in the backyard type vibes, right? Lit some fireworks off, but from 2 in the afternoon till 2 in the morning, just explosions, freaking all day long.
It was the last time I was actually out in Huntington Beach for one of these deals, right? So. It's
Sandy
just
Beach is in chat. She goes, "It's so fun. It was so fun."
So it just, I mean, guys, it's like professional fireworks everywhere, right? They go to Arizona, they go to Utah, whatever, and because they're illegal here. You cannot have them in California. So they go out there, they bring them back in, and we've all done it and whatnot. But at Huntington Beach, it's like it's a war zone. It's just insane. Now, they have the ghetto bird flying around trying to catch people, and send the police over there or whatever. But it was funny. You'd see the ghetto bird would come flying, and so everything would be going off over here. And the ghetto bird would come, and it would all stop. And then right behind the ghetto bird it would start flying as he's passing everything. It start flying up behind him. It was insane. I mean, just insane. But everybody. Just be safe out there. I always have these stories, and I'm just going to tell this quick story. It's a tragedy, 4th of July tragedy, but maybe it'll make some people wonder about this. Those fireworks, those big freaking, rockets and mortars and stuff. Do not put those things in your hand. Do not hold those things in your hands. My buddy who used to sell us fireworks and stuff, one of the kids broke one open and pulled that little ball out, and it's got a fuse on it, and that fuse is a quick fuse. It's not a slow fuse. It's a quick fuse. The kid lit it in his hand and blew his hand off. 12-year-old kid lost his hand, and that happens every year, all the time. People losing their hands from fireworks. So leave those things alone. Put them where they're supposed to be. Be safe. Go ahead and play with them. Have fun with them, but don't let the kids put them in their hands and shit. It's just ridiculous.
Don't be a crispy. I got all my hands, all my fingers and toes, but it came close more than once.
Yeah.
I had one sewed back on. This one here I had sewed back on. It's a little crooked, but
really,
yeah.
From a firework?
No, it was a forklift blade landed on it. The guy, I was climbing out of a crate, and the guy dropped the 800-pound forklift blade. I was on the side of the crate. He dropped it on my hand on the edge of the wood and in the crate.
That'll do it.
Oh yeah. I was stuck up there. Come on.
That's when you know you can handle a lot of pain.
No, I couldn't handle it. It hurt. So I get drove. They drive me straight to the hospital. Hospital was around a couple miles away, and I had my hand on it like this because it was just freaking throbbing like crazy. And I got into the emergency room, and the nurse said, "Let me see it," and I took my hand off, and as soon as I did that, it just all over the place. So she grabbed it. Oh my gosh. And then it was gone from here, from the first knuckle. It like peeled it like a banana, snapped the bone in half, and was hanging out. And nail was just disintegrated. And the guy, now you remember in the LA riots, the guy Reginald Denny, who who had his face bashed in with a brick during the riots. Well, the doctor that put him back together happened to be on duty that night, and he came in and saw everything. And I had to wait 6 hours because a kid came in with a gunshot wound to his head, and I had to wait for him. So I'm waiting in there just in pain because they wouldn't give me any painkillers. And then so this doctor comes in and he says, "Hey, I'm Dr. Such and Such. You know me from, I put this guy, Reginald Denny, back together. I'm on duty tonight. And I want to do this experimental thing on your finger, because they just want to take it off. And would you mind if, would you authorize me to go ahead and do this experimental deal with your finger or whatever?" I said, "Well, yeah, man, if it's going to save it, maybe, sure." Because they were going to take it off. And so he did it. And I still have my trigger finger, man. Look at that. Look at that.
That's awesome, buddy.
It's a little messed up. It's
that would suck losing your pointer finger on your right hand. Are you right-handed?
Right? Yeah, I'm right-handed. That's my trigger finger.
Oh, that would really suck.
That's like a Mexican miracle.
Mm-hmm.
Even Foxy, the devs are in chats saying, even though I've been in many meetings with those guys, they didn't realize I had hair. I do have hair, sir. I do have hair. SJ, when you say you're going to be up here July 30th in the Bay Area, I'll go to this cigar place with you, and I'll get Monkey to go with us, if that's true.
All right. Man, the retro hell on this thing is awesome. This really is a good stick.
I love these barrel aged ones, bud. Have you ever had one?
I don't think so. Now I don't know if this is one of those, but it doesn't say edge on it. It does have that wrapper on the foot, but it just says Rocky Patel Light on it. And I'm not sure exactly where I got these. I got like 4 or 5 of them in some. I don't know if I got them from Famous, and I got a 5-pack or something for some reason.
Nice.
But I've only smoked 1 or 2 of them, and I can't remember if I liked it or not. I haven't been a real big fan of Rocky Patel's, to be honest, but this thing here I really do like. I really do like this box press here, this 1990. This vintage.
Well, there's so many other cigars.
Yeah, That's true, buddy. Welcome, Mr. Montoya. And to answer,
hey,
I think it was Green Yeet. I live closer to Monterey than I do SoCal. I go to Monterey all the time.
Monterey is just beautiful, man.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite places up north. It doesn't really get much better than that. Monterey is awesome.
Sometimes when I do changes to my truck, right, that involve smog regulations, I need to go drive it for 100 miles to get the computer to flip back. So when I take it to get smogged, it shows that
it's reset.
Yeah, exactly. And not recently reset, like 10 miles before I got to the shop.
Right.
So Monterey's the trip I do for that, actually.
Nice.
God, all these regulars in here I see all over the place.
Yeah, I am seeing a lot of cigars on X in the crypto community now. A lot of them.
Yeah, it's awesome. I was just looking at a post from one of our fellow Hexicans who's sitting by a hot tub with a cigar and a lighter and everything. I forget who that was.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yes. No. Wait, who did you say?
Wasn't it Hex D something or something like that?
Oh,
we follow each other, I think. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, we follow each other. Yeah, it was Jimmy D Hex.
Jimmy D, yeah.
Yeah. He's got He's got a couple of sticks sitting there, a towel. He's got his Hex T-shirt, and he's got the jacuzzi fired up.
Fully prepared. Now, if he had
Fully
burned
prepared.
it all on a screen while smoking that cigar, that's even a better picture, Jimmy D. If you watch this in the future.
Yeah, come check us out. I think he probably does. He's got us all.
He's been in our chat before, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. I want to look at the. We actually started to see the markets move a little bit today, didn't we? Well, the last couple of days. It's like DeFi's been moving up. We've been looking pretty.
You guys think that's because of the big beautiful bill, or the unemployment numbers coming in better than normal, or what do you guys think that's from?
Well, the unemployment numbers came in bad.
Unemployment number came in better than expected.
33. No, they said they wanted 95,000 growth, and it came in 33,000 down.
No. Mm-hmm. The report I just watched said they were expecting unemployment to climb to 4.3, and
you're talking about unemployment percent. I'm talking about jobs. The jobs report was yesterday.
Yeah.
They were expecting 95,000 new jobs. I'm sorry, not the unemployment report, the jobs report. The jobs report came in at, it was supposed to come in at 95,000, and it lost 33,000. So, but unemployment rate didn't go down as bad as they thought it was.
Yeah, it actually went down to 4.1, which is pretty good.
Right direction, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Not sure what this bill's going to do. We'll see how that all works out, but it's done. It is through, and we'll see what it brings. See if it brings growth, or see if it brings what some of the other people are screaming and crying about. We'll see.
It always makes me worry when the word "big" is before "bill." Right.
Well, that's why beautiful was put in the middle of it.
Yeah, exactly. Unless that bill is in my pocket and it's like $100 bill, that's a big bill. But if it's going through Congress, I worry a bit.
Well, at least they ran it through a couple of times, amended it, gave everybody kind of what they wanted. That's what I like to see, is them working together, passing it back and forth, trying to make things work. That's kind of what makes everything work, right? So
Montoya is probably right. He says market is moving due to clarity. So just like some final some finality to all of this. Yeah.
There you go. There's no more wondering what's going to happen. We're going to do this, we're going to do that, and it's all kind of like now probably built into the market, and the market can go and do what it wants to do now. So we'll see. We shall see.
Well, I think just looking at the charts while we're sitting here, ETH's getting ready to break out, I think, at least based on what I'm looking at. So I wouldn't doubt if it does break out, we'll see a rapid rise over 4K. Probably maybe up to 41, 42, and then see where the market wants to take it. Then that would be good for us if ETH does that.
Oh yeah,
both Bitcoin and ETH are looking kind of like normal. Like as normal can be for crypto. But
last week they talked about the BTC miners' strategy is investing in ETH. I found that interesting.
Well, it looks like something that's been held back. So why wouldn't, if you're a trader and you're willing to move funds around, take a risk, right? It's an educated guess that it's going to go from 2,500 ish or whatever to what's it at 21 right now? Yeah, let's say 20. No, it's 25.90, right? So it's an educated guess that we're going to get a 4 to 5x before you get hype. That gets you to the 10K level, and then beyond that, who knows, 20s in the cards. If it goes really insane, 30K. So that could be like, that could be a big deal, right? It'd be a big deal for us in our ecosystem if that happened.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been suppressed and held back so hard, man.
It has. But with all the institutional action that's going on out there, I mean, it's looking really good. I mean, there's a lot of money flowing in. Do you happen to know what the market cap of the market is right now? Are we over 3.5? Where are we at? Trillion?
I have no idea myself. I'd take a look it up.
We're probably up there somewhere. That would be nice.
Yeah.
If you guys aren't reading chat, I'll read SJ's tweet. Tickle the like button, friends.
Yes. Tickle it.
Click it. Hey, I don't know. Did I do my hex stream after we were on last week? Maybe. I do a lot of hex streams, but the other thing I was looking at pretty heavily, and I to the point where I'm like, I might even want to speculate a little bit on hex. I don't normally buy and sell hex. I just usually buy and stake it, right? And but it looks so good. I mean, we had, in a macro level, and I know anybody listening, because I got some straight feedback today from some people about hex, right? Every day I get that kind of straight feedback. But 4 buy signals in a row. Last time we had gotten 5 buy signals on hex on Pulse Chain. Got a 7x. So yeah, I mean, if it decides to take off, we might see 3 cents nickel.
How much Pulse X does that dumper guy still have, Crispy? Do you know?
A lot.
I don't like
well, in my point of view, a lot. I don't have the wallet, so I can't go look. Maybe somebody will drop it in chat. It was billions still.
Still billions?
Yeah, it was still billions. But I kind of look at that as bullish as hell, man. That's like a distribution to somebody who, people who want to do it. Plus, they've been adjusting the pulse and pulse X ratio with it. I don't know what you guys think about this, but anybody have more feedback on what's the significance of moving it over to the Ethereum chain to do the swapping? I have some theories, but nothing concrete.
Doug says he still has 110 billion Pulse X left.
Yeah, that's a lot of Pulse X.
Holy crap.
Yep, that's a ton.
Yeah,
that is a ton.
200 times, 300 times, 500 times than the normal person, or account, right? Those are some crazy names. Well, one of the things that I thought about with the markets, besides the fact that on the Ethereum side, it helps create a market and a stronger link directly to Ethereum and to other tokens that are over there, you do have a baffle effect, right? Where, yes, you will get reaction with moves, of course, because people will front run them and whatnot, as well as arb them, but it's delayed, It's a delayed move. And so when you're adjusting those ratios, I think there's just greater control, on the Ethereum side to be able to do it. That's all. Now, I don't know, though, a lot of people theorize that this is just a user who's getting out,
It's very, very hard to get out with 110 billion tokens, bro.
Yeah, I know. But well, that's why it looks more like a ratio move. Getting ready. Maybe they're getting ready with anything that's going into ETH, and I think that particular user picked up a ton of ETH. Man, they're poised for the 4x, right?
Yeah,
2x, 4x. I mean, these are the kind of games that you see.
Yeah, you might see one of those swaps back, maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They used to call it flippering.
Yeah.
You start seeing the markets run, and then all of a sudden you're building and building and building on that momentum. And a lot of what's happening is other people chasing the green candles, right?
I've done a little bit of ratio trading with small amounts between pulse and pulse X and stuff, things that are moving traditionally together, and I don't mind holding either one of those coins if something moves backwards and I'm stuck in a position, right? But holy moly, that's a lot of work if you don't have something automated.
Oh yeah, it can be. It can be. Honestly, I tell you, my best ratio trade that I made probably ever is that I did pick up the coin that nobody wants to talk about any longer. Wow, some people still talk about it, but I'd gotten that P-die, and man, hell if I didn't get 1-to-1 on hex with that. That was crazy. That was crazy. And I'm not one of those big guys, but I mean, it was nice to be able to, take something that was so cheap that you got right in the beginning and be able to swap it and actually see that happen. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't do a lot of that.
I stay away from it.
You did a crazy stream this week, didn't you, Crispy?
Say that again.
Didn't you do some crazy stream this week? Something that I hadn't seen you do before.
I do all sorts of crazy stuff, man. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I'm talking about T-shares mostly, and then other than that, just I started this crispy nugget thing, right? That's coming out with these 15-minute streams on things I'm focusing on. Like I might do it on Steakhouse if I ever got with the guy who was going to teach me all about Steakhouse. But just talking about.
I know the guy.
Yeah, I know. I know. But
there's things. Oh, I'll talk to you about that in person on a call.
Roger.
We had one of the stakers on the east side, right? Because Steakhouse is also available on the east side, and he was like one of the primary guys in that pool, and he forgot to unstake his claim his gains, right? And it's the same type scenario, same math as normal hex, right? It does a bleed out function after a period of time, but instead of it bleeding to the OA and T shares, right, it goes to MCR stakers, right? Because
nice. Yeah.
When that thing's claimed, it's claimed, right? You can't. Everybody claims as a group, and I think he paid MCR stakers 300,000 hex.
Oh, he gifted it.
Yeah, gifted it to him. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, we see a lot of that still. Hey, it's easy, man. I mean, I think I have things under control most of the time, right? But then just to like PSA for everybody, right? Then the other day I'm like click, and I was like, as soon as I clicked, I was like, man, I just sent these coins to the contract address, didn't I?
Oh,
it's just so easy to make mistakes when you think you know what you're doing. So always be double checking. And then, in the past I've had that situation. Besides the fact not printing things like Hedron or whatever, just this idea that, hey, I went to the stake and for some reason I thought I ended it, or I was going to end it, and then I decided not to end it. And then like a month later, I'm like, wait, this is still out there. And like, God damn, So yeah, there's some responsibility you got to take being in DeFi and manage your own stuff.
A lot of responsibility. Yeah, a lot. And if you're going to play with these things, play with little bits and learn how to do it. And I'm not going to say that you're not going to make mistakes, because I've made some monster mistakes too. I sent the wrong USDC to a Coinbase account.
You and I both did that. You and I both did that.
Dude, like who hasn't done that one time, right? You have to, otherwise you don't learn, right? And that's why it's important to make your mistakes small and do some testing, right?
Yeah, I wish it was a small mistake, but it was a big mistake.
Yeah,
mine was not small either.
Yeah, well, a lot of times what I've heard from people is they'll be on Pulse Chain and they're like, oh, I got to send it to Coinbase, and they forget to bridge. Like we all know, I mean, you don't have to be like insane not to know that you got to bridge it first, but boom,
Yeah.
$9,000 I did that with, bud.
Well, I wish it
That's
was all
one of the main reasons why I want freaking Coinbase to adopt Pulse Chain is because I'll get my coins back.
Because you get your coins back if they do it.
Yeah. I mean, they could give them back to you. They could give them back, but they won't. And that's
I hope they have a hell of a pizza party.
They should just make an app where you can retrieve the coins out of your wallets that you've sent, because I know there's a lot of people that have sent coins to their wallets and they're sitting in those.
Oh yeah.
You should be able to just take the seed phrase of that Coinbase wallet that you're using and put it in another thing and get it out that way. But they won't.
The problem is it's not a seed phrase. It's not a self-custody wallet. It's a it's a custodial wallet. That's why it doesn't have
too big. Yeah, I see Phil. I see a lot of people. Alan, I'm sorry that I feel you're paying too, Alan, on the PWB, the RAP BTC. That was actually the token that I did that with recently. It was just a small amount ish, but still hurt me. I cry about it. But it was just so easy to do. And then Phil Cooper's talking about PDI. Yeah, man, that PDI did double in price again, didn't it? It's crazy.
I see a lot of people play around with mild cards and reward points cards, right? Mm-hmm. And they do that especially with Costco precious metals, right? Because they get a couple points on that, right? The other day I saw, I think it was Kraken is offering 4% Bitcoin rewards on their credit card.
Okay.
That's pretty decent, right? I mean, and I'm not an exchange guy or anything like that, right? But imagine if you ran your household on a card, because I have a miles card like that, right? And my trip to Vegas, my 2 trips to Vegas, and my 1 trip to Panama are all paid for with my miles card because I run my household on that. Groceries, gas, insurance, blah, 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 right? And all of my travel's basically free almost every year. But if you did that with a Bitcoin's reward card, especially at the bottom, right? If you had a Bitcoin's reward card when Bitcoin was under 20 G's, and you kept those Bitcoin and you got a 5x on your points in less than in a year's time, that'd be freaking solid as a rock right there.
Yeah. Now on the Genius Act, is that considered yield? Because I know credit cards and everything was kind of said that they couldn't do that in the Genius Act. So I don't know if that's still.
I don't know how it works, buddy. I just saw an ad for it on Instagram, I think.
So it's not stable. So
yeah, it's a little bit different because it's
not stable.
So first off, it's not guaranteed, right? Because they can change the rules anytime, which is fine, right? I mean, that's what credit card points are all about. But that cash back, right, from a business perspective, they already got USD for whatever they're doing, and they're charging probably out the butt for fees. And most people don't pay off their credit cards, so then they're earning 22% APR on loaning the money to the people. And so that I bet you it's not considered to be quote unquote interest. I'm pretty sure it's not. It's considered to be
rewards,
some sort of reward backwards, but. It sounds all good and everything, but as long as you do something with it, you have to be smart enough to sell it at the top or get out of it.
Well, and then like Triplet said, is it's if it's something that you use to pay your bills every month and you're just getting the rewards points and just holding on to those, then it makes it worthwhile. Because then if you're not doing that, those of you out there who use 0 interest credit cards or credit cards you can pay off with 0 interest every month, you use those things, you get rewards. It's basically like kind of free money if you're paying it off. They want the people that can't pay off their card every month to just keep racking up interest and stuff like that. So it is a trap for some folks, but for people who know how to use them, they work nice.
Yeah, my wife and I flew to Panama, paid for our hotel and our flight with points flew my daughter and I and myself for a birthday to Vegas and the room, all with points, and then flew to Vegas plus a room for the for Pulse Chain Tour event, all on points.
Yeah, and by the way, speaking of that, Randy's event's coming. It's time to get tickets and get ready for that. It's coming up.
Yeah, sometime you need to do it in the month of July, because after August 1st, August 1st, the prices go up a little bit.
Yeah, is that a visa situation, or is it just you can just go there as a visitor?
You can go there as a visitor.
Yeah.
And Valentino Siesto is that's one of the lounges. Then there's the other lounge that we had the Cubans in.
It was, and this time the event's very, very close to that. But
okay,
the hotel is in that downtown area where you and I and SJ ate. Right near the Spanish tapas place.
Mm-hmm.
Right around there. Pulse Jitsu's in the chat. He'll be at the Panama event. What's up, Fast Abdul?
Yep.
Stem cells for everybody. Let's go.
Oh. Yeah, that's running big out here. Everyone's coming down to San Diego to go get stem cells.
Are they getting them in San Diego? Or are they crossing the border to get them?
I hear that dark chocolate increases your stem cells, so I just eat dark chocolate. Yeah, dark chocolate increases stem cells. That's my reason for eating it.
Yeah, don't you feel like I don't know if you guys feel this way or not, or see this, because we're all three of us are a little bit older, right? God damn if everything doesn't keep changing, right? At one point in life, none of the young kids will understand this. We were told, hey, that your body doesn't make stem cells. You can never get them. You only have the stem cells you have. Blah, 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 right? And look at how this technology and the knowledge has changed. You know, dark chocolate, I don't know if it does or not. I've heard that too. They've now done the research on fasting. And that after, a certain number of hours, I don't know if it's 36 hours or something, of doing fasting, your body starts creating them. People are getting them injected. I mean, where the hell are they coming from? I mean, it's crazy. I know where they come from, but I'm just saying that, 15, 20 years ago was like, nope, you ain't got enough stem cells. Too bad.
Well, that and growth hormone and now peptides. I mean, there's the tech is the biotech is just getting really, really insanely good. They're starting to unlock a lot of different things that are going to help. The longevity's coming. I mean, it's coming.
Sandy,
my son, he's big into it. Autophagy.
Well, they set autophagy for sure. Does it? That's when your body's clearing. Yeah, I can never catch me tomorrow. I won't be able to pronounce it. But yeah, I mean, they do say that the first person who's going to live 1,000 years has already been born.
Whoa.
That's kind of like the thinking, right? Is that's how fast technology is going. It's pretty amazing. I just marvel at it because, there's just so many facts that just weren't true. And I'm not saying it's conspiracy. I'm just saying a lot of shit we were told for years, for decades, that just isn't true anymore, right? It just, it kind of makes you think about like all these motherfuckers back in the 1700s, 1800s getting stoned and hung and shot and killed because they came up with these radical ideas like the Earth rotates around the sun, And
oh yeah. Well, damn, it's come full circle. They're ready to start doing that to people again that say that shit.
Yeah, I know.
But right now, that this whole thing is not unlike B&B Summer, though, right? So you have no idea. It's kind of fast and loose. This is the people are taking health in turn, just like they are with DeFi, right? So they're getting their own stem cells, and they're becoming their own doctor, and they're getting their own HGH and freaking peptides and stuff like that. But a lot of them don't know what any of that shit does, truthfully, right? They were just seeing it.
No, it's all the peptides are all research peptides. Like they sell those things. They're not for human consumption. They're for test subjects.
Yeah.
But people are well, people, a lot of us are using them.
Yeah.
I've been using peptides myself. I use BP 157 and TB 500. My shoulder feels amazing. Like I was, been in the gym having shoulder issues with, my back issues. I've worked them out over the last few years. And now these peptides are just freaking amazing. I swear by them. I mean, I don't know what it's going to mean, in another year or two. They're going to be saying, oh yeah, everybody's going to be dying using this shit. But, hey, I've put a lot of things in my body that should have killed me already, but I'm still here. So
same here, buddy. But when you grow a third leg, we'll be there for you. We'll be there for you.
At this age, it doesn't matter. I can add some parts or lose some parts, and it ain't gonna matter.
I don't know, man.
As long as I'm feeling good, because that's all. just get up and have a normal
keep
day.
Keep the leg that feels the best. Let the other one go.
Right. Yeah. Take that one off right there. This new one I kind of like. That other one there, it's been giving me trouble for a few years. I'm gonna take it off. But yeah, it's crazy how fast everything's moving. AI just got the new Chat GPT set up, and damn, that thing is smart. That thing is sharp. I mean, wow. The stuff you can do now that you can put together, the formatting, that it just turns you into a superhuman, it seems.
Oh, goddamn right, man.
Throw a couple of stuff that I wouldn't do, but would have taken me months to do. I could sit down and do in 20 minutes. And have ChatGPT put it together for me. And in 20 minutes, I'm looking like a pro. Like, wow, look at that.
And I see that I click buttons is in the chat here. So I'm looking forward to when we finally get to the AIs where the AIs are actually trustable enough to click the buttons. And that's going to be a little bit crazy. I know those guys from the Pi protocol down in Atlanta, they've got a new AI client that they put together. They're heading that direction. There's all sorts of stuff coming. Some of them isn't necessarily AI per se, but all these bots and things are coming up, and the things that get rolled out over the next month. I can't talk about some stuff I know, but man, they're like insane new tools coming to Pulse Chain that'll be using things like AI.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, the agent's pretty awesome.
Yeah, their AI agent's good. Now, hey, what I'd say to anybody who's listening to this and they're like, oh man, everybody's doing all this stuff, there's no chance to compete. But I would say to you is this. So we're talking about it right now, but what's a good way to go back? All right, so this is old school, right? I used to go to all these conferences and classes and all these things, like with these big talkers, right? And you'd go through a class like Stephen Covey's class and all the training and stuff for the 7 habits, type training. And I come out of that stuff and say, man, well, the secret's out. Now everybody's going to win. So if everybody wins, how do you win? Right? Like this brain teasing thing. But here's the thing. First off, at least half the people ain't going to do shit. And then the other half, they got to execute, and they might not even execute, and then they get distracted. So even with this AI stuff, we got a lot of opportunity for a long time for people can figure out how to use it. Right? Yeah, it's going to be painful. Maybe you'll be the last person making buggy whips, and last person shoeing horses. But you know what? We still shoe horses, and somebody still makes buggy whips, right? So in the future, things will change. That's all. But don't get put off by the fact that so many other people are doing stuff.
Yeah, and this the Pulse Chain community that has stemmed off of the Hex community. I mean, it's just cutting edge of DeFi. I mean, it's stuff that's never been done, stuff that's just coming. And even though you may feel like you're behind the curve on this thing, you're not. You're like way ahead if you're even in this community looking at these things right now. And some of the stuff that came out, early when Pulse Chain first and D5 first, launched, is already obsolete. Is already not, necessary or needed, or other technologies have improved already. So you're not really missing a whole bunch. It's just like most tech does that. It's like, oh shit, man, I got to get that new Betamax. Oh man, the Betamax was like the deal, right? And within a few months, VCRs took that over, right? And so it's just like that old situation. Probably everybody in the chat's like, what the freaking hell is he talking about?
And we don't want to even talk about full-size laser discs.
Oh shit! Oh shit! That was all the rage, man. I've got the full-size Star Wars laser disc somewhere.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
The other day I was talking with Fast Abdul, and I had a new project on our thing, Pulse Chain Times, right? And I told them that I had a comic book that had Hulk versus a Rhino versus the Abomination, and you opened up the comic book and it had a 45 in it, and a guy that narrated the story as you turned the pages, and people never even heard of that before.
Remember they used to put those on the back of cereal boxes too, those little
100%. Yeah, I had the National Geographic that had the square album in the middle of it that played whale songs. It was a trip.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody had ever heard that before. It's
Lethal
weird.
Maxes. I just had a Rocky Patel Sumatra Edge. How was it? Did you enjoy it? I like those Sumatran wrappers.
Is the Sumatra Edge lethal? Is that the one with the red band? Is that the Sumatra? Because if so, I have a couple of those. I think it is. The Havana is the light blue one. I think the Sumatra one is that one.
I can't see what he says. He's got smoke all around an emoji, right? Now I found the coolest little. It's this little piece of garbage lighter, but it's such a fine flame that it's really good for cleaning up your cigar. It's so tiny.
How are your guys' smokes?
This thing's awesome.
It's good.
Second, third, really good. First it was good. This was really good. Getting ready to finish in a second.
We got a nice pepper at the end here.
Yeah, this one's not peppery, but just spicy. It's got a little spice.
I get to when I get to the end of mine, I usually wrap duct tape around it and smoke the duct tape. Makes me feel better.
That's tasty right there.
Yeah, I got my little wire clippers, man. I could use those for my cigar at the end.
I'm telling you guys, invest in these.
I gotta get me a set of those.
That's high quality, man.
My wife kept taking
probably like $1 at Harbor Freight.
Yeah, I actually went on Amazon and got a 15-pack of tweezers, right? And I put them all in the garage. I said, "Don't mess with my stuff." Right? Just to make, and I think I only have 3 left in here. I think they've all disappeared between wife and kids. They all go away.
Oh, I hate that when I go in my garage. Well, it's bad enough I can't find my own shit, but then when they go in there and start rifling through stuff.
Yeah, it's a wreck.
Who's got the frogs chirping? I don't know. Maybe I do.
I went on mute to see if it went away.
I think it's me. My Oasis out here is rather froggy. They like my backyard. We had a frog epidemic here one year. I mean, it was just, you tried to walk along the street here, and there were thousands of these little frogs everywhere, all up and down the streets. Just because we have like 2-3 golf courses around there, and they all have their ponds and shit. And for some reason, we just had a frog infestation, just insane amounts of them everywhere, crunching on them, walking up the road here. It was pretty crazy. Just 1 year though. Oh boy.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah.
We're you know everybody's enjoying when you're silent.
Yeah. It's a good thing, man. Got a big weekend coming up, a little bit of celebration. Can't beat that.
Independence Day, folks. Independence Day.
So I don't want to get political on the show. I went to a my local Safeway, right? And I got a coffee and a girl that usually same girl usually fixes up my coffee while I shop, right? Super nice girl, young. And I said, "What are you doing for the 4th?" And she goes, "I don't celebrate 4th of July." She goes, "That's the worst of all holidays." And I said, "Okay." She wouldn't celebrate it. So I think there's a big some of that movement of people, right? The no kings type of deal, right? That's going to be tomorrow. Everybody's worried about a little bit. Are very, very down on the 4th of July. The cool thing was, though, even though she said that, she goes, you can celebrate it, though, and I hope you have fun, right? So that was very DeFi of her, right? And I said,
I've never heard that one before. I've never, I've heard Columbus Day, I've heard, what other ones? I've heard of a couple of holidays, but I've never heard.
Kinetics is in here. Do it. Get political. What's up,
Kinetics? Kinetics is. I'm very apolitical. I mean, I don't put a red or a blue hat or a medium colored hat on. I just like to use common sense everywhere, and try and mitigate everything with everyone being involved, because we're all here together, and I think that's what's important, is that everybody has to listen to everybody. And once we start getting one-sided on any idea, then you got problems, and I haven't seen a political climate like this in a long time, where everybody just wants a one-sided deal, and it's sad. It's sad. And
yeah,
I was hoping our country would never do that, especially here. Here we are coming up on Independence Day, and we're so divided, and nobody wants to listen to anybody, and everybody's got the right answers, but nobody wants to sit down and have discourse and discuss the things and how they affect everybody. And that's too bad. I think we've been, real people's opinions or gripes, complaints, or whatever have been drowned out by each other, and it's sad. It's too bad. That's why I don't like politics, because there's no winning in it right now. There's no way anybody's going to sit down and hash things out. It's like, nope, this side's going to take this, and then next time this side's going to take that, and it's just going to keep,
and it's just a stalemate, right? It's kind
well, if it was a stalemate, it would be okay, because then shit wouldn't be, it's kind of like turned into like, what a lawyer would do. It's like, hey, look, you deserve, a $25,000 award for this, for what's happened to you in this case. We're going to ask for $3 million, and and try and get you something, or and it just that's what I just see here. It's like we're going to shoot for the stars and hit the moon kind of thing in politics, and I don't think that's good for anybody.
It's not. It's not. Pretty sure we have enough laws on the books right now that we don't need many more. If they enforce the ones we have, I think we would be solid as a rock.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, MVS Crypto is in the house.
No.
If I know that you guys are tuning in for a cigar and broadly crypto show, but if you are interested in getting up to speed on what Pulse Chain is about, those MVS guys put out the mega thread every week at the beginning of the week. Every Monday it gets posted, and it is awesome, right? It gives a breakdown. Yeah, they're killing it. They do a breakdown of everything. The show's been on there a couple times. All the new projects coming out, freaking things that Richard Hart's talked about, and they have a huge thread that links to all the stuff that's happened in the week prior or that day. And it comes out every Monday. It's like a weekly subscription newspaper that comes out for free, and those guys are absolutely killing it. You guys are badasses.
Yeah. No, I saw them start posting, and of course I was watching it. I'm very slow to listen to what anybody's got going on out there, or promote anything that anybody's got going on out there, because of intentions of what's gone on in crypto and DeFi, and in this community in particular. Been bit too many times. So I've been watching them, and they've done good work from the beginning. And I just started kind of retweeting their stuff, leaning into them, and sending them messages, appreciating what they're doing, because they're really doing the work. They're doing the good work. And
no donation address or token is out yet, right? And that's a good thing. That's a good sign.
They're doing good.
Win MVS token, you guys. Derek's in the chat. Welcome, Derek. Nice to see you guys in here. Tex Hex. Ebonics is in here. What's up, Ebonics? So we got coming up in a couple of weeks, we've got two really cool things coming up, I think, right? We've got the RH Max PulseX conference, which is awesome. I believe we're all involved in that in some way or fashion. And then we have the thing that SJ's putting together. I think Josh Wu is going to be down south, and for that, we're having a little meetup down on the beach in Newport. Then we go to dinner, and then K1 Carts. So if you have any questions on that, or if you'd like to attend, hit up SJ. She has a lot of free time on her hands, so she would be more than happy to help you guys out. That's a joke. She's super busy. So if she does, she usually gets back to everybody very, very quickly. But you can also contact me if you have any questions, and I can get them answered for you. If we don't have the answers, we'll talk to SJ.
Got rid of the ding dong.
That's awesome.
Ding-a-ling. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, that was SJ.
I don't know. I still see Kinetics in the chat.
Is he still poking around?
No, I was just joking. You said you got rid of the ding dong.
Oh, come on.
What's up, Miss Paulsarica?
Exy Paulsarica.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
I've been going through some critical thinking exercises on Hex last couple days. Just thinking about current state. I had somebody come on hard with an argument about Hex staking and why it is a failed experiment. And my instant reaction to that. Well, maybe you don't know, but my initial reaction is hell no. I mean, that you're wrong. No, right? But I believe in the whole why not theory. When something like that comes up, like,
Mhm.
oh, let's turn it around. Why not? Right. So I've been doing some thinking. I don't have anything to say yet. I'm thinking about it. Because it is a real thing to be talking about the whole hex ecosystem. And I think and, the idea that if that is true, if that was true, I don't know that and this is why I'm biased, right? I don't know that that's the world I want to live in crypto, because then it is all speculation, which is kind of crazy because it's all speculation anyways, right? But you know what I mean? It's just this idea that if I didn't think there was a higher purpose, then
Yeah.
it is just simply figure out how to trade the tops and the bottoms,
And when we say failed, or when this person says failed, what exactly are they getting at? Because I've only seen a couple of things that would make it challenged. There have been some challenges to it. Let's not be amiss about that. I mean, if you look at the yield today versus yield in the past, it could appear that it is a failed experiment, but that's not the truth. I mean, the yield that it's generating at the percentages that it's generating is still yield. It's still yield that's being made for nothing, and you're self-custodying it, and the code is working, and there is no problems or issues with it. Is the ecosystem beat up and dilapidated right now, where you have issues with wallets and protocols that need updating, that need things to work more efficiently? Yeah, but I to call it a failed experiment, I would say no. I think it's still one of the best DeFi protocols out there that allows you to participate in ways that nobody else has ever been able to participate in DeFi. Have some things changed that make it, a little less viable or more challenged now than it was in the past? Yeah, but that's, here we are in a, I got a rabbit in my back here. Here we are, 5 years into it in an extremely drawn out, bear market, where DeFi and altcoins have taken a big hit, and are off to a slow start, due to parameters that are not in the regular control of what normal, or what is a normal market cycle anyway in crypto, but past market cycles. So I'm with you on that. It's like, yeah, I'll ponder these things and talk about these things, but doesn't necessarily failed is kind of a strong word to use when you're looking at this.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think for viewership, for people's that we speak to, at least from the people that I talk to, I think I owe it to them to have thought it through. I think if I'm going to talk about it and say I like it, I should be able to back up what I'm saying, and be able to think. I'm just going through these deliberations and these thoughts in my head, right? Because it always comes down to the same type of spiel. Yeah, but you could have just stayed liquid and sold the top. I mean, isn't that really what it is with anything? You stay liquid, buy low, sell the top. And I think, without dragging us all the way down a rabbit hole, I think the biggest thing with that has to do with risk assessment and exposure to risk, and what the difference is. And just being honest about it when I think about it in my head, meaning that it's a different risk profile when I'm getting hex and holding hex and staking hex versus when I'm holding other things liquid. Because it's easy to just assume you're going to do all the right moves, You know,
Mm.
it's just easy.
And
But
it's
the risk is
always
that you don't.
that conversation is always had after the top. Sell the top is always had after the top.
Oh, yeah.
Buy the bottom is always after the bottom. And and then you hear the handful of people, I bought the bottom. Well, you didn't know it was the bottom. Nobody
Right.
really knew it was the bottom.
Well, it's educated guess. I mean, that it
Yeah,
could be, if you
yeah.
did. But like you
And
say,
most
most
don't.
people don't. It's kind of like Ebonics. Let us say, sorry, Crispy, only buy tops. Yeah, I know. But listen, I'll be honest. I bought plenty of tops and sold plenty of bottoms. Like, what the hell are you doing? I mean, it's like a natural herd mentality. And it is very difficult to
My
not do that.
highest hex buy was 45 cents.
Yeah, I bought up in that range too.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I guess more conversation for the future. But people who are listening that are involved in the whole hex ecosystem, we're all thinking the same types of things. Like, so what does it mean? What does all this mean? But again, hex is a 15-year cycle, man. It's 15 years. We're only 1/3 of the way in. What are these people going to say? Because I do believe it go to all-time high and above. So when it makes a new all-time high and it rips, then what's the answer? Was it still a really bad idea? No, I think the people who had set stakes 5 years ago that come out at the top, they're going to be like really happy, So it's like, yeah.
It's same conversations that were had with Bitcoin. At 11 cents and $300 and $5,000, and I mean it's the crypto folks are they're funny. It's everybody's a freaking genius after the fact, right? Or able to punk everybody else out after the fact. You idiots, or you dummy, or you did this, or it's failed, or it's this. And it's like, why weren't you saying that a year ago? Why weren't you saying that 2 years ago? Whatever, And
those are the same guys that go into their Twitter profile and clean it up, right? Because they don't want to have the appearance of being wrong, right? Can't stand those people. Welcome, Liddyverse. Nice to see you in here, bud.
Liddyverse, what's up? Good stuff out there, man. You're doing good work, man.
Yeah, we had a fun conversation yesterday. I was only part of it for a little bit in the spaces, but just talking about Pulse Chain onboarding, of course, their project, some other stuff, and just contemplating. And for anybody who doesn't know, that's a 404 token, 404 Mon, which is pretty cool. I've been doing some investigation into, how we have these. So some people don't know, right? NFTs originally are just like, hey, here's an NFT. You have to have demand for the NFT if you're ever going to resell it, right? Bored Ape Yacht Club, as an example. Well, if demand dries up, right, nobody's going to pay $1 million for something you paid $500,000 for because it's not out there. But with the advent of what they call 404, which I don't think is actually I don't think it's a standard yet, but it's kind of like a pseudo standard. It's where you can have NFTs that are actually
pliable,
can be traded. Yeah, they're fungible, right? They can be traded like a regular token, and then a full one is redeemable for an NFT. I think we're headed pretty quick, and this kind of tags over to the gaming space. I think we're headed pretty quick to a combination of that, and maybe it'll be a new standard, and the standard of an NFT like what we saw with HSIs, where HSIs can hold tokens, right? So the standard type of a contract doesn't exist today yet, unless it's been custom built. But the future may have NFTs that do both. They can hold value. You can trade tokens in and out of them, move them in and out. But they can also have value of their own. They'd be fungible. We get some of that with the anti-gravity saga guys, doing the anti-gravity work. That's Max over there. And, you have this NFT and it collects value over time. At least it's a placeholder for value, right? That eventually if you ever turn it in and burn it, you get a whole bunch of tokens, right? Which are quote unquote yield or rewards. But all this stuff, I think we're gonna see some new stuff come out. I think over the next year or two, it'd be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, and they've got stocks now that you're going to be able to trade online. They've tokenized stocks, so now that there's going to have 24/7 stock trading because of the blockchain. And
do you think that's
going
good?
to be huge.
Do you guys think that's good?
I think so. I think it gives exposure. I like that better than I like these ETFs, to be honest.
I think it starts to blur the line of a security versus crypto.
And I think that the line needs to be blurred as much as possible so that they can get rid of this whole, accredited investor bullshit. I mean, even here in California, they were talking about getting rid of the accredited investor. And why shouldn't normal folks be able to buy stocks or pieces of stocks? And
but if you think about that, right, it's always the end game is the path they take is incrementalism, right? So if you get a little freaking wedge of light where it says that this crypto actually is a security, and then they start to take, well, that one's a security now, so maybe this one is also a security. And after winning these cases and other cryptos winning cases that says this is a different asset class, which I like that, right? I think it
looks like that's the way they've gone, though. It looks like they've gone to hey, a security. These are not securities, and even the Richard Hart case is kind of helping with that, and so there's I think that line is shifting from being blurred to pushing this over more into a commodity space. I mean, we see with the administration that came in, what they've done, how they've leaned into crypto, and how they've kind of pulled the SEC's teeth out. I like all that I'm seeing now. So I worry about centralized, protocols and centralized rules and regulations, and turning over that centralization power over to those, versus some kind of a general crypto organization of some type. Now we're seeing the exchanges, the money houses, and all of them taking over and getting carte blanche to go do their thing, without any transparency, because they're screaming for, hey, don't make us be transparent, just make the KYC AML folks and all of them transparent, not us. And that's where I start to not like what I'm seeing. But as far as inclusion and opening the market to other investors and bringing them into the space, I'm all for all of that. But I'm just I caution when we start handing power over to the centralized agencies, and that's what bothers
me. In the stock world, they already have all the power, right?
Right, and I don't mind. I don't mind ETH being taken over, put into an instrument, and having it securitized, right? That makes sense, right? They've done that with stuff for forever. And that makes a ton of sense. But having securities come over here, I think it's a slippery slope. I think the only gains that we see are in an administration that's favorable to crypto, and that could change every 4 years. So yeah. I worry about the next generation of politicians that are not wearing the crypto flag on their lapel, right? Saying, you know what, these securities are over here in crypto, and having that be blanketed across crypto.
Well, let's take a step. Can we take a step back just for a moment on the crypto side of this? And so, I acknowledge what you're saying, and that there's things that got to be worked out, right?
Yeah.
let's not talk about crypto for a moment, right? There was a time where you had to be like really smart and figure out how to work with people and pay a lot of fees to even invest.
Yep.
Right. Like in my lifetime, if you weren't going to spend $10,000, you couldn't even do it. Right. It didn't even make sense to do it. You had to pay so much in fees. Right. And over time, things have changed in investments where now virtually anybody can invest in anything for free. I mean, it's not free, but it's built into the platform.
And that
You
was
can
like
go
when
get-
E-Trade came out in the 90s. That's when that all started changing.
Yeah, and that just blew things out. So I think it's a natural progression that stock should be able to be traded because at any time by anyone who whatever. I mean, I guess whatever the criteria ends up being that you're able to do that because it's removing the friction.
Yeah, but
system,
if E-Trade was the catalyst for people to come into it and open up a market to the plebs, right? And I mean that literally, plebeians, right? The people who walk the street every day, right? Normal everyday people. DeFi started with that.
Yeah.
So
well, I think it's a natural.
It's in essence going backwards. In my view,
I agree with that. I think I look at it this way. I look at it as in order to enable that type of 24-hourness and availability and the ability to do the auditing and all this stuff. And we don't even know the technology, how it's going to actually roll. You need a platform or platforms to be able to do that type of work, right? To be able to track these 724s, and it's going to be and is already changing TradFi. And so it's natural, I think, that it should be looked at, that blockchain will be looked at. But what all that turns out to be, I don't know. It's just like when I was, we were downloading Napster and all this other shit for music, and all of a sudden you're getting an email and a letter saying, "Hey, did you know you downloaded something that is copyrighted?" Well, I don't get those emails anymore, right? Right? Things changed. They became available. A lot of those people went out of business that couldn't hang with the change, and now virtually anywhere, you're paying some sort of fee probably, but virtually anywhere anybody can listen to anything they want, right? And so what is that? I just don't know what the technology finally looks like, but I acknowledge what you're saying, right? And where is the line? When does it become a security? How is that controlled? I don't know, man. I don't have the answers for that.
We are at a crossroads, and in my opinion, I think that the accredited investor rule is what they're going to try and get rid of, because I think that with ushering in, look, what TradFi wants is they want that 24/7, like crypto has.
Oh, they want the money. They want the fees. They want the fees.
They want the 24/7, and I think that this gives them that opportunity to break in and get that. And I think that they want to set. Look, they saw what Robinhood did. Every 14-year-old kid in America had a Robinhood app and was trading crypto in the schoolyard in high school, right? And that's what they want to see everywhere. I mean, basically, E-Trade kind of did that, but now it's. I think they really got to just get rid of the accredited investor thing, get rid of the security deal, and just figure out a way to put safeties in place, and then everybody's going to have to be responsible and accountable for their own selves. And the trade mentality is never going to go away. The gambling mentality is never going to go away in this stuff. It exists in TradFi just as much as it exists in crypto, so there's no real difference. And the lines are being blurred, and the two are coming together, and I think it's inevitable. I think it's inevitable. It's going to happen. And I do hear what you're saying.
What I see is corporate America taking a look at what crypto has done and being able to do a cash raise of $1 billion in a month from people that are sitting in chairs in Beverly Hills to a guy in a hut in the Philippines, globally, and not have to answer to a VC that just dumped in $200 million. That's what I see, right? I see corporate America saying, you know what? I really don't want to pay a freaking guy to be on my board and be beholden to him and take direction from him. I would rather just steer this thing my own direction and launch a token on DeFi. And like, if I'm Shoe Palace, right, and I want to go public, and I want to freaking not answer to freaking LeBron James, who bought half my company, right? And I just launched the token on crypto, fund my whole organization that way, with no real responsibility to a shareholder, because it is not a public, it's crypto, right?
Yeah. And now that shareholder has control of your market.
There you go.
And the companies don't. And that's also dangerous. And that's the problem with crypto, is that the protocols themselves aren't necessarily in control. Where in Hex, I think the protocol has a pretty good amount of control over the token itself.
Yeah, you can take, let's just not be biased, right, and take the whole RH ecosystem out of the equation. There's been other tokens out there on other chains that have done huge amounts of cash raise, right? That sometimes dwarf those that are going public on an exchange. Absolutely dwarfs those guys. I think that's a big deal, and bringing stocks in plus having something like that, I think would turn us into securities, and I don't know if I want to be a security. That's imaginary horribles, though, right?
Well, I mean, like we said earlier, it's stuff that needs to be discussed. It's stuff that needs to be talked about. It's stuff that needs to be put on the table. Because again, what it does is it ends up, if you don't talk about these things, if you don't look at these things, it just gives a back door, like you said, for that to happen. And how many back doors have we seen get opened up and, they come in blasted time and time and time again? It's not like it's an uncommon imaginary horrible. These things do happen.
Yeah, and usually it's not the government blasting it. It's the guys blasting themselves, right? And becoming insolvent in the blink of an eye because it's easy freaking money, right? It's the easiest money to spend is that money that you got easy. So, they didn't go through a process of being vetted and blah, 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 and have to go through all the
It's a lotto ticket.
Yeah, it is. It's a lotto
it's like, I won. I'm out. And it's like you're sitting there looking at $50 million, $20 million.
Maybe I don't want to sell shoes anymore. Maybe I just want to count my money, right?
It's like, blockchain and everybody else be damned, I'm walking, and that's, kind of the mentality of a lot of this stuff, why it happens. And that's, it's too bad. But it exists and people have to protect themselves from that stuff. So I think that, education, monitoring, looking, transparency, being smart enough to use tools that view these things. For instance, we're going to do a story on it. SJ and I put a news story together about the new monitoring. There's a company out there that is making a monitoring widget. Right now, if you go up to TUSD, you can see it there in operation. So what it does is it shows you the backed asset to the stablecoin, and you're going to be able to have this widget, in all of these stablecoin websites and use it to see, what it's being backed by and what the reserves.
Isn't that the one that Funding Jim always pumped was TUSDs?
Yeah. It was a great protocol. It still is. It's not a bad sale. They had one issue with one of their with one of their companies that was providing that. They shut them down, and I happened to have crossed money over right when they shut them down,
Oh,
and it was right during like when USDT or USDC unpegged and this thing went insolvent. One of their uh, one of their shit. What do you call them? They're damn it. I hate it when I forget words. Anyway, they were actually back in the coin with their assets, and they went insolvent, and they had to shut it down. So they turned the protocol off for a while, and it got a few people stuck. I happened to be one of them that was stuck in the middle of that. So of course, with that situation, I mean, it all worked out. They returned my coins and everything was okay, but there was a couple of weeks of panic there. Like, come on, guys, what the freak's going on here? So yeah, that's what happened with that. But now you can actually see what is backing those with some of these widgets that are coming out and whatnot. So you can have it's not real time audits, but it does go and parse the information and put up there what the reserves are.
like being able to see inside the Dow, yeah, like they used to be able to go and see what percentage. You probably still can. I haven't with DAI, right? What percentage was in ETH? What percentage was in USDC? What percent? Similar to that.
Exactly. I'll give you the name of the company that's doing it right here. It's in my story. Let's see. That's that one. So it's an attestation report is what they call it. I hope I'm saying that right. I think it's attestation report. And the firm that's doing it is it Deloitte BDO? No, that's the attestation report. Yeah, that's the name of them. Deloitte or BDO. Checking whether it's stable application. Yeah. So they're making these attestation reports that point to, like take a snapshot in a point of time and tell you what the reserves are to the stable coin, so that you can compare them and see where the supply reserves are, how many tokens are in circulation versus the value of reserves. It'll be equal, greater to the supply. You can kind of make a decision on whether that it's red flagged or not. So those are just little tools that are coming out that you can use to kind of mitigate risk and stuff when dealing with this crap. Because that's what worries me about, these centralized agencies owning all the stables is they're asking for no audits, because it would be too cumbersome to them, according to Mr. Saylor. And that's just, that just bangs of Bernie Madoff and FTX with Sam Bankman-Fried and all that shit, People don't want to be looked at. It's like, why?
Bangs of Fort Knox. We still haven't seen the gold. Yeah, right. We still haven't seen the gold.
Trust me.
Right?
What wasn't it?
Trust me.
Wasn't it USDT that freaking was backing their stable token for a while with bad paper loans, right? So you're buying loans for on the dollar, right? And your books say that you have 100 million in debt, but truthfully, 10% of those people may be going to pay that off, right? And they got to play with the other 90%.
Yeah, it was a big deal in like 15 and 16. Everybody was looking at Tether like, what the heck is going on over there?
Right.
And luckily it didn't blow up or anything, which everybody kind of thought it was going to do. They obviously they did the right thing and pulled through it. But yeah, there was a time there people were like, hey, what is going on over here? Now, obviously, people like Sam, they took it the other way and said, fuck it, we're just going to go ahead and lie to everybody and take their money and, and go buy weird, stupid shit and hang out with Diddy and
spend it all on baby oil.
Spend it all on baby oil.
What's up, RH Max? We already pumped your conference earlier today, but we'll do it again since you're in chat. RH Max has a crypto conference, the PLSX conference coming up here. I think it's 14th, 15th. Yeah. So stay tuned for that. There are details all over X right now. Take a look at RH Max profile. I think he just had the schedule pop up this week. So take a look at it. It's pretty awesome. If you're new to Pulse Chain, there's two things I could say, right? Is go take a look at that MVS newsletter and get a feel for everybody that's tweeting. And they really highlight the ones that are coming out every Monday, and attend some of these conferences that RH Max is going out. Go take a look at the one he did prior, the Pulse conference, which was about a month ago. And then take a look at this new one, the PLSX conference is going to be on the 14th and 15th. Pretty cool.
Yep, he's picking up the ball and running with it. That's for sure. Doing the good work.
Yeah.
Doing the work.
I'm done with mine, you guys.
Yeah, me too.
I'm burning my fingers, but
this started to burn my lip.
This Rocky 1990, right? Not 1990.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It was. This is one of their flagship cigars, and it was really good. And I really liked the Churchill size. It was nice. It was
good
nice.
Cigars.
They are good, man.
And like I said, they're not over the top expensive, and they're really good smokes. And
Pollywood's in the house. Welcome, Pollywood.
DJ.
Pollywood. So, real quick on Pollywood, I've had some good times around the world with that guy. We've been all over the place, man. Polly. If you're ever out at an event and you see Pollywood out there, stick around with him.
Make sure he brings his glasses. He's got to have the gold glasses with the dangly things on them. Yeah.
Your evening will end up damn interesting, damn exciting. I ain't going to say that it's going to turn out well, but it is going to be a lot of fun. That's for sure.
Well, RH Max put in the chat, there's also Hex Week coming in August 18th through the 22nd.
X is dead.
Interesting.
A joke, RH Max. Joking.
All right,
I think by the time that happens, we might see the bump we were waiting for. So.
Pollywood sent me a picture in my DMs on Twitter. I think I'll post it. Of he and I on Freddie Quotes' balcony at the Penthouse party on the first Pulse conference.
Yeah, we've had some good ones with the Mr. Quotes. That's for sure. He's had some good VIP parties. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a blast. It was the only one I'd ever been to, and I had a great time. Hex Monkey's in the chat.
X won't die. I agree.
Monkey.
I agree.
I haven't heard from him in a long time, man. That
Yeah,
Hex
right.
Monkey.
I'm hanging out with him Saturday, bud. So
I'll fly out.
That's on you for being on the East
So
Coast.
Monkey's coming out too?
No, he and I are just hanging out together. Hex Monkey, are
here.
you going to LA? You want to go to LA together with me? I'm just going to go for the dinner.
Yeah, I'm missing that whole thing, guys. I got to go to Texas and and help my sister out with some stuff and hang with her. So I'll be gone on the 6th. So I'll be gone for the whole meetup. Hopefully I'm going to get that
family first.
Yeah, I got to get that done first, and then I'll catch the next one. I am going to get to meet Josh Wu though, and when he comes into town, I can't miss that guy. Got to meet up with Josh Wu.
He's been putting out some banger videos lately.
He has quite the talent, man. That guy is talented. One thing I got to say about this 1990 Patel here is that the vintage 1990. It a lot of cigars, when you get down to this nub here, they get real harsh. They don't taste real good. They get harsh, and I don't like them. This one, I know Triple Dad does not care what it tastes like when it gets down there.
These taste great at the bottom.
This one's great at the bottom. It is great all the way down.
If I had a pipe, I'd put it in a pipe and smoke the rest.
All right.
Why don't you have one?
I don't know.
Put it in a bomb and rip it.
I feel like I cross a line when I start doing that. It's a little bit of old behavior.
Wife comes in, it's like you're ripping on it.
Yeah, my wife comes in and I'm smoking a pipe again. And it's like, oh, that's not good.
You're taking a rip out of a water bong, man.
Vets and Crypto reposted our stream. Thank you, Vets.
What's up, Vet?
Rackham too. Rackham reposted our stream.
Yeah, Rackham's good too.
Right on. All right. Well, I am done with this. Everybody, thanks for coming. Appreciate you all. We'll next week. We haven't figured out what we're going to do next week, are we?
Smoking a cigar.
Does everybody have a Cuban?
No.
I have one Cuban left.
Do you want to smoke it?
Oh yeah, I'll smoke it. What better place to do it is than on this show? I have a Davidoff.
Ooh.
I
got the hookup in Huntington Beach. I went to what was supposed to be a lounge. It's really this guy's warehouse. It's got a couple of couches in it, and
that works.
He's loaded. He's loaded with Opus X's. Just loaded. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like heaven in here, right? And we were pulling around. He's kind of filling the whole thing out, and he's like, really like Cubans? And he opened up this box, and it was all Cubans. Bolivas, the whole shebang, shaboom, Cohibas, and the real deal stuff. And I got a couple of those there. And like I said, my brother went to Cuba and brought me a couple, and I've got a handful of them in there, and I think we should do a Cuban show. You got a Cuban, Crispy?
I do not, but I'll smoke Cuban like. How about that?
And we can talk about that too and what that means.
I can find a Cuban seed.
Okay. All right. We will do that then. All right, everybody. We are going to be doing Cubans next week. And thanks for coming. We'll talk some more crypto and smoke some more cigars and hang out with these two fellows and maybe even have a guest. All right, everybody. We'll catch you next time. No effing on Friday due to Independence Day. Because I do celebrate Independence Day because I am a proud American. And Marine and the whole shebang shaboom. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. We'll catch you on the next one.
Happy 4th.
Sun-soaked and proud, hung in the rafters, wrapped in shroud. Hands work strong, they twist and bind. A rebel's oath, slow burned and signed. Burn it all, let the embers soar. Gold in the ash and coal in the core. No masters here, no gates to climb. We blaze the trail, we laugh at time. flames don't die, they realign. The pulse within begins to rise. We break the night and claim the skies.